Welcome back to another requested video. Today I am tackling a question that I get asked a lot, but this one in particular was requested by Godzilla Reader, and his question was, any original ideas for a kaiju, or what ideas would I have to make an original kaiju? But I'm actually going to say that I actually kind of have already done that. If you guys are familiar with Kenshin Studios, and me and my friend Nico, we actually have made an original monster, and his name is Kaiju. So originally, when Kaiju was made, that was back when Nico and I first sat down to write the script for Godzilla Wrath of the Hybrid. This was back in 2016. We knew we wanted to have something that stood out from the rest of the Godzilla fan films out there, and we wanted to really make our mark. And after a lot of brainstorming, we came to the conclusion that the best way was to create our very own kaiju for Godzilla to face off against. So we began the process of creating Kaiju, and our first step was to figure out basically the origin of him, making him this hybrid creature that was between Orga and Space Godzilla cells with Godzilla cells mixed all into one. And we'd also try to figure out how the character would work, and giving him a bunch of abilities like his own atomic breath, being able to spawn crystals from anywhere, and having blue gravity being like abilities, or shooting electricity from his hands. And with the help of a lot of our team, Nico and I being the original idea creators for Kaiju, and then Danielle Faye, who is known as Kaiju Danielle on the internet, she created she basically illustrated him, made the concept art for him. And then Vinny DeGregory, which is Chenzo on YouTube, he was our composer, and he made the theme music for Kaiju. And then of course Sean Flaherty, who is known as Craftables, he was the animator for Wrath of the Hybrid and basically brought Kaiju to life. When we revealed him in 2018 during the film's premiere at G-Fest, we got a lot of good praise for it, and we also got some criticism in terms of how Kaiju looked. And I'll admit, looking back, yeah, the design of Kaiju was definitely something that could have been more refined in terms of his design. He looked a little more cartoony in the Wrath of the Hybrid film. 2019, we started to refine his design. And with this newer model, this new design of his, I think compared to the Wrath of the Hybrid model, is definitely a step up and top tier style that we have made for this character. And I think that the new model and the new design that we did made this character come to life even more, and just his attitude and looking ferocious and his just brutality, just basically making him just a complete mean guy for when we brought him back for his own little series called Kenshin Chaos. So it was really important to us that Kaiju felt like a credible threat to Godzilla and other characters in the universe, both visually and in terms of his presence. And we wanted that sense of power and menace to really come across in that design, and also his abilities. And after all the work we put in creating Kaiju, I was really curious about how the audience would react, after Kenshin Chaos, and also through sort of the crazy development of that series. But I think the audience received the new Kaiju very well, even after Kenshin Chaos was well over. What I loved hearing was the reception that we got after Kaju's new design was shown off during Kenshin Chaos. Everyone loved the new design. They were saying that this was better than the original. They were saying it looks more awesome and it looks more realistic. It was really cool to see how people reacted to him. That's a look into the creation of an original kaiju, basically using Kaiju as an example for this video. I really don't have any other ideas on how I would make another kaiju, because a lot of thought and effort went into making Kaiju, and he is just such a special co-creation for me, and I really can't think of anything else unless I were to work with Nico on making another original kaiju down the road. And also, this video just made a really good excuse to talk about Kaiju and kind of plug some Kenshin Studios things. So basically what I would say when creating an original kaiju is that it starts with wanting to add something unique to whatever project you're doing, and then diving into the origin and design, and finally hoping that it resonates with audiences. So what kind of original kaiju ideas do you guys have? Let me know in the comments below. And I want to again thank Godzilla Reader for his request for the video, and that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay big, G fans.